Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Keycoder. Today we are diving deep into Vicarious Surgical's recent Form 8K filing. And trust me, after seeing this report, you might need surgery yourself because there is a lot to digest here. This filing reveals some pretty significant changes for the company, including getting a warning of possibly being delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, and a change in their accounting firm. We're going to break down what all this means for Vicarious Surgical and its investors who suddenly want to invest in another company. Before we jump in, if you enjoy getting straight information from these kinds of corporate documents, please subscribe to the channel. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss these filings with other enthusiasts, so please check it out. Scroll is a report date of Curious event reporting. As report is dated July 7, 2025, so this is all very recent information. The report starts by talking about a warning about being delisted or kicked off the New York Stock Exchange. Basically, the New York Stock Exchange, or the NYSE, has rules for how big a company needs to be to stay listed there. One of these rules is the minimum market capitalization standard. This means the company's average total stock value must be over $50 million for a month straight, and stockholders' equity also must be over $50 million, or else you can be warned you can be kicked. In April of 2025, the NYSE told Vicarious Surgical that they weren't meeting the standard. Their average global market value had been less than 50 million for 30 days in a row, while their stockholders' equity was also less than 50 million. This triggered a warning from the NYSE. To avoid being removed from the exchange, Vicarious Surgical had to come up with a plan. They submitted a compliance plan to the NYSE, explaining how they were going to fix the problem and get back into compliance within 18 months or a year and a half. Good news, the NYSE accepted their plan. On July 8, 2025, the company received an acceptance letter from the NYSE. The NYSE will now check on the company every 3 months to see they are following it. If Vicarious Surgical doesn't stick to their plan or doesn't meet the minimum market value, they will start the process of being suspended and delisted. Even though the company's stock is still listed right now, there's a small change. The stock symbol, which is the ticker, will now have BC added to it. This shows that the company is below the usual and accepted standards with the NYSE. Once the company gets back on track, the BC will be removed. The company emphasizes that this warning doesn't change how they do business day to day. They're still working just like before. They're also still required to file reports with the Securities and Exchange Commission or the SEC. Basically, they are hoping they will get back on track. Scroll item 4.01. Change TEFSIN registrant certifying accountant. Scroll XCO right. Next up is a change in accountants. Item 4.1 talks about that Vicarious Surgical has changed its accounting firm. On July 7, 2025, Vicarious Surgical let go of Deloitte and Tercel, who were their independent registered public accounting firm. This decision was approved by the Audit Committee, which is a special group within the company's board of directors. Deloitte's audit report from March of 2025 didn't have any negative opinions or disagreements, except they added a sentence saying there was a question about the company's ability to continue. Scroll the satisfaction. Quote, Deloitte scroll, the document states that there weren't any disagreements with Deloitte but during 2023 and 24, which might have caused them to mention it in the report, but there were some reportable events. These events include weaknesses in the company's internal controls for financial reporting. These weaknesses were disclosed in their reports with the SEC, specifically in their annual report on Form 10K for the year ended December 31, 2024, and their quarterly report on Form 10K for the year ended December 31, and welcome back to for the quarter ended March 31 to read how to read, and their quarterly report on Form 10Q for the quarter ended March 31, 2025. These weaknesses had to do with not having the right business procedures, employees and controls to meet the accounting and reporting rules for a public company. This included issues like not separating duties properly when recording transactions and managing important accounts, having weak information technology controls, and not having a good system for risk assessment and documentation of accounting policies. Scroll to the inquiries of Cherry Beckhout, L. Screw Deloitte has given Vicarious Surgical permission to share information about these weaknesses with Cherry Beckhout LT, who is the company's new accounting firm. Scroll attached Quitters Exhibit 16. One scroll, Vicarious Surgical shared all of this with Deloitte and asked them to write a letter to the SEC confirming that they agreed with what the company said about their relationship. A copy of Deloitte's letter dated July 11, 2025 is included as Exhibit 16, confirming they agree with what was said. So who's the new accounting firm? As mentioned earlier, it is Cherry Bekaert LLT. On July 7, 2025, the audit committee hired them to audit the company's financial statements for the year ending December 31, 2025. The company stated that they didn't consult with Cherry Bekaert about any accounting questions or what kind of audit opinion they might give. There also weren't any disagreements or reportable events as defined by SEC rules that involved Cherry Bekaert before they were hired. The report is signed by Adam Sachs, who is the Chief Executive Officer now. Let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture. Vicarious Surgical is facing some pretty serious challenges. Getting a warning from the NWAS and changing accounting firms. That is not good. The company will need to show their compliance plan is working and that they can meet the minimum market value to avoid being delisted from the NYSE. The change of accounting firms can raise questions, but it looks like it was done correctly. The previous auditor Deloitte said they agreed with the report filed by the company. This could be a chance for Vicarious Surgical to make some important changes and come out stronger. However, there's also a risk that they won't be able to fix the problems and they could face more serious consequences. Overall, this filing raises some warning flags about Vicarious Surgical. Investors should pay close attention to how the company handles these challenges in the coming months and what the outcome is for their next quarterly report, or else this might be considered an extremely risky company to consider investing in. Alright, that's our breakdown of Vicarious Surgical's latest filing. What's your take on these changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord community in the description. Come hang out and discuss financial statements with other people. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.